banking on a bump in business.
It means more customers and, of course, more sales and the ability to expand.
The spillway crisis now seemingly past. How quickly can Oroville grab this global spotlight for something good?
You know, we have a chest of gold coins still to be discovered, so.
And by the way, the mayor says she'd also like to make this a destination for students for field trips from schools all across Northern California.
All right, Steve, thanks so much.
For centuries, the Nisnan people went about their day-to-day lives in the Coulomane village in the plush and abundant Coulomau Valley. But on January 24th, 1848, their world, as well as the rest of the world, changed forever. James Marshall, hired by John Sutter to build a lumber mill, discovered gold in the tail race of the new mill. The upheaval was enormous. Native American cultures that had lasted for thousands of years in California were lost and destroyed. The old Mexican province suddenly became a new state. James Marshall was building the sawmill to supply lumber for Sutter's Fort in Sacramento Valley. John Sutter had ambitious dreams for creating an empire, the new Helvetia, in the Sacramento Valley. But his great fiefdom was destroyed because all of his holdings in Sutter's Fort were lost to the ever-increasing masses seizing everything in pursuit of instant wealth. And so they came. Europeans came on anything that would float, sometimes taking 5 months to round Cape Horn to get to San Francisco. They came from Michigan, Ohio, and western Pennsylvania. Miners from Georgia took the Santa Fe Trail and routes across Mexico. Those with money came by steamer via Panama to San Francisco. By the end of 1849, there were 40,000 people in the mines. Mining evolved from pocket knife to the gold pan, from the pan to the rocker, and the rocker to the long tom and the sluice box. Sadly, although John Sutter tried desperately to find ways to profit from the discovery, both he and James Marshall never enjoyed the wealth, power, and prestige they felt they deserved. But what they set in motion was something far greater than either of them ever envisioned. Between 1848 and 1852, 4 short years, California's population grew from 14,000 to 223,000. The gold rush expended 125 million troy ounces of gold, worth more than $50 billion by today's standards. And more than 80% of the gold in the motherlode is still in the ground today. So consider this, a second gold rush is happening today as thousands flock from all over the world to enjoy the history, the beauty, and romance. California's picturesque foothills, fed by the crystal clear snow runoff from the Sierra, home to the many diverse Native American cultures, was forever changed when James Marshall discovered gold in California at Sutter's Mill in 1848 and set off the largest gold rush in history.
This is an example of big ad in the Richmond Palladium of 1849. This guy was selling salve. He got it in a bottle. And for $2.50 or $5 or something, you could get this bottle of salve. And all you did was rub it all over your body, get up on the top of the mountain and roll down, and all the gold stuck to you. And he guaranteed you by the time you got to the bottom of with one roll, you'd have enough gold when you scraped it off to come back and live happily ever after. That was all you needed. And he sold 2 types of salve, one for gold and one for silver. If you wanted to get some gold and silver, you used the other. Now, this is the type of thing that caused these young men of the day, the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old guys who the big end of the gold rush was in the first years, to go because, my gosh, I can live forever and happy the rest of my life. I can go out there and get money and go back.
There is an account in someone's diary of some French men who came with their wives to find gold, and they believed that the gold was in the rivers. This is what they were told, and they did not want to get wet, so they brought these giant rakes with them so that they could rake the rivers and get the gold out without getting wet. And they brought their wives along, and they brought for their wives little embroidered stools for them to sit on and little silver tongs so that they could sit on their little stools and pick up the little nuggets and amuse themselves while the men were raking the river.
If you enjoyed this clip, please subscribe and like and share.